Prologue: A timid life in the city. In the early years of her young life, Elizabeth Ann lives under the protective wings of her great-aunt Harriet and the doting Aunt Frances. She is sheltered, timid, and overly dependent, taught that the world outside her home is full of hazards. Her aunts fuss over her every move. She is helped out of bed, reminded what to wear, escorted everywhere, and protected from small risks. Their intentions are kind, but in overprotecting her, they inadvertently deny her opportunities to grow. They talk for her, anticipate her needs, and in love, can't resist smoothing every path. A turning point, a shift toward independence. When Aunt Harriet's health declines, the household must move to a warmer climate. The move forces a difficult decision. Elizabeth Ann cannot join them. Instead, she is sent to live with relatives she has heard frightening stories about, the Putneys of rural Vermont. Her Aunt Frances warns her repeatedly of their harshness. Discovery of a new world. Bracing herself for hardship, Elizabeth Ann opens the door to a vastly different reality. The Putneys, which include Aunt Abigail, Uncle Henry, and their daughter Anne, welcome her with practicality and kindness. Their expectations are clear: she will walk to school, help with chores, read, and learn. Their discipline is gentle but firm, and they provide space for Elizabeth Ann to grow. Their home is filled with real, hands-on work, churning butter, gathering eggs, boiling maple sugar. The daily routines are robust and earthy, showing that childhood need not be cocooned. Named Betsy, a new identity. In her new home, Elizabeth Ann sheds her past protective identity and slowly becomes Betsy. The nickname symbolizes her emergence into a self-reliant girl. The environment encourages her to do things herself, start the fire, stand contributions, walk the path to school. Each small action builds her internal confidence. She learns that she is capable of making decisions, learning lessons, and solving problems, all without being prodded or rescued. A turning internal scene occurs when she learns to drive a pair of horses pulling sleigh or wagon. Without instructions, she trusts herself and pulls the reins the way she feels is right. Schooling and self-discovery. The one-room country school contrasts sharply with her city schooling. The teacher guides students individually, encouraging self-paced learning. Betsy is free to choose subjects at her level and to help others in younger grades. She can lose herself in a book, and in doing so, learn to love reading. The mixed-age format helps her develop both academic and social skills, new friendships, strong character, pride in accomplishment. Each day reinforces her growing ability to navigate the world on her own terms. Chores, crafts, and contribution. At home, chores are an essential part of life. Betsy takes increasing responsibility, milking, cooking, feeding animals, scrubbing floors, stirring pots of syrup. Aunt Abigail doesn't coddle her. She sets expectations and lets Betsy meet them. Through these actions, Betsy not only contributes to the household but gains a sense of reliability. She learns that she can be useful and valued. This sense of contribution extends to a deeper emotional growth. She is no longer a passive observer in her life but an active participant. A significant moment arrives when Betsy tries to teach a younger child. Recognizing her ability to guide another person helps strengthen her sense of autonomy and leadership. Facing challenges. Life on the farm isn't always smooth. Betsy encounters obstacles, managing chores in all weather, confronting her own awkwardness, dealing with worry over school grades, understanding social differences. Through every stumble, she is quietly supported, lessons are consistent, guidance is patient. She takes each challenge as a chance to grow and gain the trust of others and herself. Each mishap becomes a rung on her ladder to independence. A test of self-confidence. A defining incident begins when her cousin Anne brings a struggling child to Betsy's attention. The boy is in a dangerous situation caused by neglect. Betsy must decide whether to intervene. She overcomes her fear and steps in, demonstrating empathy, courage, and moral conviction. Her actions lead to help for the child and deeper trust within the Putney household. This event showcases her internal transformation. She now has a voice, the ability to act, and the moral grounding to stand by those in need. Comfort in Vermont, shock at home. When news arrives that Frances plans to retrieve Elizabeth Ann, promising to rescue her from the Putneys and return to the city, ostensibly for her own good, Betsy is bewildered. She does not want to leave. Conflicted, she tries to articulate her love for Vermont and the life she has built. Her refusal to return shocks Frances. How could Betsy prefer this rough, demanding life over the comfort and ease of the city? Frances struggles to understand, but before long, she comes to see the change in Betsy. She no longer needs rescuing. Understanding and reconciliation. When Frances arrives, she witnesses Betsy tending to farm chores with competence and calm. Betsy calmly explains that she has found happiness, confidence, and belonging. She speaks with clarity and conviction. Frances, confronted with reality, listens. She finally understands that Betsy doesn't need to be rescued, she needs to be recognized. Frances returns to Aunt Harriet with a new understanding of what Elizabeth and Betsy needs: freedom, challenge, love, and trust. Epilogue: a new common bond. Life in Vermont settles into a new harmony. Betsy continues to grow, surrounded by family who respect her autonomy and take pride in her character. She reads, works, helps, laughs, teaches, and lives with an inner sense of worth. She is connected. A circle forms around the hearth. Betsy, Anne, Aunt Abigail, and Uncle Henry share quiet presence and mutual respect. The story closes not in drama, but in peace, a family united by understanding, not obligation. Dorothy Canfield Fisher's educational vision. Beneath the pastoral charm and coming-of-age story lies Dorothy Canfield Fisher's deep belief in progressive education, especially the Montessori method. She had studied in Rome with Maria Montessori and embraced the idea of child-centered learning. Betsy's journey exemplifies this: autonomy, freedom to learn at one's own pace, trust, hands-on engagement, and moral action. Themes and enduring significance. Understood Betsy explores several timeless themes. Self-reliance, Betsy learns that she is capable, trusted, and independent. The power of environment, overprotection stifles growth, challenge helps one thrive. Trust and respect, the Putneys don't rescue her, they trust her, making her rise. Education beyond the classroom, moral courage, responsibility, and empathy are learned through living. Redefining success, happiness is not comfort, but fulfillment born of effort. These elements speak across generations. Children, especially those overprotected, still benefit from stories of empowerment. Educators and caregivers find inspiration in Betsy's path toward self-determination. Parents gain insight into balancing care with autonomy. Why Understood Betsy still resonates. Called a forgotten classic by many modern reviewers, the novel maintains relevance because of its universal message. Betsy's awakening, her moral choices, and her emotional growth resonate as a fresh narrative even after many decades. The principles of trust, challenge, and freedom continue to inform how we raise and educate children. Narrative voice and prose style. Canfield Fisher writes in a gentle, almost poetic style. The prose feels warm, direct, and observational. She respects Betsy's perspective, describing inner shifts with empathetic clarity. The country setting is sturdy and comforting. The pace is measured. Nothing is hurried. This calm storytelling invites the listener in, mirroring Betsy's gradual discovery. The narrator honors the child's world without exaggeration or sentimentality. Conclusion: a story of understanding and growth. Understood Betsy is more than a children's story. It is a portrait of transformation, a testament to the strength that comes from being understood and trusted. Betsy evolves from a cautious, overprotected child into an empowered, capable, moral young girl. Her journey is happier, richer, stronger because she found a home that understood her, literally and metaphorically. This timeless tale continues to resonate because its core message remains essential: children flourish when they are respected, challenged, and given room to grow. Betsy's journey remains a beautiful reminder that understanding a child means allowing them to find themselves.